Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Imagine with Keira podcast. As you can see, we have a little bit of a switch up in setup today. It's a gloomier day outside and look a little bit more pasty than I usually do on camera because of that, but we're going to power through. I will be interviewing another very special guest today, and she is our Miss West Virginia's Teen 2023. I cannot wait to have her on and hear more about her journey. And I will catch y'all when she hops on in just a bit. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Imagine with Keira podcast. I'm joined by another very special guest today, and I'll have her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Dodson. I'm currently Miss West Virginia's Teen, and I leave in 4 days for Miss America's Teen, so I'm super excited for that.
That's so awesome, and I have to point out, I just noticed it, the crown on top of your tree back there is amazing. That's so perfect. I love it.
I'm a big decorator. I told my parents, I was like, we're not even going to have time to undecorate. So it's just going to stay up until I get back. And
Absolutely.
It's great.
Oh, yeah. And it's like Miss America themed, so it should be up almost all year round. It's perfect. Okay, let's get into these questions. So how did your journey in the Miss America opportunity start?
Well, I started pageants in 6th grade, so I'm currently a senior, so it's crazy that I've already been competing for 6 years. But I competed in different organizations, and I couldn't quite find my fit, if you know what I'm saying. If you do pageants a lot, you don't understand really what each organization has to offer you. And I knew that my education was super important to me. And when I found out about the Miss America organization and their scholarship opportunities, I knew I wanted to give it a try. And the biggest thing for me was the talent portion. I didn't know what I would do. And I feel like some girls are also in the same boat. They may not understand that they have a talent, but you truly just have to dig deep and figure out what you feel you can portray yourself to be the most meaningful. And so when I started actually in January. So I've only been in the organization for a year.
Wow.
I competed locally, won, and then I went to compete states and won. So I'm super excited to continue my journey and see where the organization takes me.
That's so exciting. What was that like for you going, first year in the organization and coming home with that state title? How did that feel?
It was amazing. I had been competing for a long time, and I feel like even in sports, I play sports too, so I constantly refer back to both of them. You might get in a slump, like a pageant slump, and you feel like that you're not very succeeding how you want to be. And I also felt like that was because of the organizations I was in. Like I said, you have to find your fit. And I kept trying, working very hard. And when I finally won in the Miss America organization, I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm a big believer of everything happens for a reason. So when I went to compete and I won, I remember telling my parents, I was like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. God put me right here in this position. And I started preparing for Miss West Virginia's Teen immediately. I wanted to be the best I could be. I wanted to portray myself the best I could be. And when I won Miss West Virginia's Teen, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You just get like a big rush of how all the feelings come in. And I started preparing for Miss America's Teen before I even went to Miss West Virginia's Teen, because I had an idea in my head that I've been preparing so much that I want to be ready if I have to leave a week after I win, if I have to leave a month after I win, because we didn't know when the pageant was going to be held. So I wanted to be prepared, and I wanted to let the judges know that I was prepared for anything that they threw at me, including the Miss West Virginia's Teen title. And when I won, it was an ecstatic feeling. It was amazing.
That's so exciting. Okay, well, what is your service initiative?
Yes. So I started it originally in 2020. Crazy time to start a nonprofit. It was very hard to get it started, but it was a good time because I had so much time to really figure out what I wanted to do. So originally it started as Allison's Helping Hands, HOPE, and the HOPE stands for Help Our Planet Earth. And when I started that, I had to really think about what I wanted to do. And I started about literacy. So I'm a big reader, and I wanted to make sure that other youth had the ability to read. And then I kept doing that, and I liked it, but I almost didn't feel like I was doing all of my actual initiative that I wanted to help with. I did food drives, I did clothes drives, I pretty much did everything that I could do for my community and hoping that it would grow. And as I started to keep doing that and I was making myself out there, I really recognized that my heart was with the environment. And so, excuse me, and a year later, I changed it to Project Hope because it was no longer my helping hands. It was no longer just Allison. I was getting a huge group and community of people. And so I started Project Hope, which was strictly about environmental sustainability, making sure our waterways are waste and plastic free, and educating that in West Virginia, we have 44 named rivers. And some people may not realize that each of those rivers eventually lead out into the ocean. There's like a big way that we have to look at it. And I feel like everybody knows that, but you don't just truly sit there and think about that type of thing. So that's what I educate on. That's my biggest thing. The first step is education. We all have to learn something. And the good thing about the environment is you don't just teach the youth. You don't just teach the older population. We all can relate to it and we all can learn from it. So if I can let somebody go home with more information than they came with, I know I'm doing and changing how I want everything to be done. So I educate, and when I do read, I read about the environment. I read about the importance of recycling, the importance of planting trees, the importance of cleaning up our trash when you go out, just making sure that you are reducing your carbon footprint. And there's so many ways that you can live a sustainable lifestyle that you just have to know. And so that's my first thing, is just making sure that I'm letting people know and making them aware of all the different things they can do.
That's amazing. I'm curious if you have like a favorite moment since you've been involved in your service initiative for so long. Is there one moment throughout that time period that really sticks out to you as being like a favorite?
There is, actually. And it was about, I think, the second week I was Miss West Virginia's teen. I went out and did a booth at an event that I had. And when I set up, I have a full table of sustainable items. So it's like compostable plastic or reusable straws or reusable water bottles, and just everything that they can visually see that they can use. And the other table has everything set up about me. So it's like when I started, where I started, my journey. And it just lets people get to know that this is my lifestyle. The environmental lifestyle is what I do every day. And I'm actually in a partnership with 4Ocean. So I am a big ambassador for them. And so I had some of their items on the table as well. And the good thing about that is I also get to explain how West Virginia can relate to the ocean and how every state can. And so when I was at this event, I was talking to kids, and this kid came up. His name was King. Great name. And he came up, and I was talking to him, and he was in second grade. And I talked to a lot of second graders, and he was very focused on everything that I was saying. He took everything in. And I told him, I was handing out lollipops, and I told each of the kids that I gave a lollipop to, I was like, make sure you put your trash in that trash bin right there when you're done, and that will be your first deed. And so when I was telling him that, he went around the whole block and was picking up trash. As a second grader, he picked up everybody's trash behind them, was walking up to people and was like, can I throw that away? And he came back with like a big handful of trash, and he was like, where did I put it? Where did I put it? And I said, well, you can put it in the trash can. Thank you so much. And that, just the sparkle in his eye of helping. Like, it's a very minor story, but it's something you truly had to be there and witness to really get moved by it. And that right there, that sparkle in their eye of helping and knowing that they're doing something good, is exactly why I do what I do.
That's such a cool story. I love that obviously you're making such an impact on these children if that's how they're responding. And who knows, now King might be picking up everybody's trash every day. I love it. Okay, I would love for you to tell us about your talent. I know you mentioned that was something you had to really dig deep for. So yes. I'm curious what that turned out to be.
Well, I will start just by a little bit explaining how I got to where I am. My talent is a her story. It originated as a monologue, and of course some branding changed, and now it's a her story. But I still explain it as a monologue because in a way it truly is a storytelling experience. I'm a motivational speaker, so my talent is all about a message I want to get across. And when I started trying to figure that out, I worked very hard for this voice that I have, this voice of change and motivation. And I didn't have that at first. That was a big reason that I started pageants. Was I was involved in 2 sports, and my confidence was so low, and I didn't know how to bring it up. That's a common thing for a young girl who is figuring out their ways in middle and high school. And I told my mom the one day, I said, I just really need to figure this out. Like, I was in a slump playing softball. I was in a slump playing volleyball. And she's like, what are you talking about? And my mom she's always been a supportive lady. And she tried getting me in pageants when I was super young because my sister did them young. And I would never go in front of somebody, ever. I was a talker, but to my family. I would never talk and go out and stand in front of a big group of people. And one day I was scrolling on Instagram, my 6th grade self, and I saw a pageant girl came up. And I started reading, and you kind of do some stalking a little bit. And I saw everything that she was doing. And I was like, oh my goodness, maybe this is what I need. And so I went downstairs and I told my mom, I said, I just signed up for a pageant. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I just signed up. And she was like, she didn't know what to say. And so I told her, so I was like, so we'll see where this goes. So I finally got an email back that I had been accepted into the pageant that I was competing for. And I found out at a volleyball tournament. And I am not kidding. I played so good at that volleyball tournament because I said, oh my goodness, like this is it's a new chapter. It's something else that I get to do. And so when I kept competing and kept learning and growing and building a voice and building a rapport for myself and finding out which change I wanted to make, I knew that my voice was the most important thing to me because I worked so hard for it. So when I started thinking about my talent, what I wanted to do, I felt that my voice could get the message across the most. And I play instruments. I play 11 instruments. I easily could have played an instrument as my talent, but I wanted to make something the most meaningful, what I felt that I wanted myself to be up on stage and how I wanted to be able to look back and see all of the moving things that I did. And again, somebody's going home with a message. Somebody's going home feeling different than they came. So when I started my monologue before at local and at states, it was called The Book of Life. And that was super important to me. Like I said, I'm a big reader, and it was all about the different chapters that we go through, the different pathways you can take in life. And it was super good. I was super excited to be able to do that. And then when I got to states and I really, really focused on the environment, the environment has grown with me. It hasn't just been something that started right off the bat. It was a piece. But when I made it my solemn focus, I mean, if you look around, you can't really see my room's kind of messy, but everything in here is environment related, and that's because it's my life. So when I started figuring out what I wanted my talent to be for nationals, I knew I still wanted it to be motivating. I knew I still wanted to leave a big message for everybody. And now it is the tree of life. So it talks about things that when we look outside, we may take it for granted. Different ways that a tree can represent our life and different meaning behind it. And I'm super excited for everybody to hear that. So I've worked so hard on it. It's been so many times where I always say that I am my biggest critic. So when I look at things and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It truly went over so long trying to figure out how I wanted to perfect it. And I am so excited to be able to perform that. And I'm actually first for talent interview at Miss America's team.
Wow.
So I'm excited to leave my mark and be first. It was a big decision to be able to pick first in our lottery, and I can't wait to do it.
That's so amazing. I cannot wait to see your talent. You're clearly a storyteller, so that's perfect for you. Every story you've told is so well thought out, and it's easy to follow. So I could definitely see why you would pick that for your talent. I love it. What is your favorite phase of competition in the Miss America opportunity?
Well, I love them all. I like how each of them has a meaning behind it. I'm a big meaning person. I find the deepness in everything that I do. And I think that's why it's so meaningful to me and why I make sure that I do so good in each of them is because I'm really looking at what each of them mean. Like we have activewear, I'm an athlete. I love that part because it shows that other people can come in and you can do what I'm doing. That's where I started. I love gown. You can see grace. You can see truly what a person is on the inside in whatever they wear. It just comes out in them and how great and confident they feel about themselves in evening gown. I love the onstage question because you never know what may come up. And it's nice to be on the spot and just to show how hard you've worked to be able to truly answer anything that can come your way. But I think my favorite phase is interview. Yeah, specifically at nationals, we only have a 5-minute interview. That's crazy. I had 10 minutes at local and at state, and I felt like I got maybe a good amount across. Like, I feel like they truly got to know me in 10 minutes. And now that it's half that, it's like a challenge. You have to truly pitch yourself in 5 minutes. And I'm excited for that. But it's the only time the judges truly get to talk to you and you're right there in front of them. On stage conversation, you're still answering questions, but you're in a huge group of people and so many people watching that you don't really get to see truly that genuine person as you might get to see an interview. And that's why I'm first. I love interview. I love my talent. I love to talk. Like I said, I've worked so hard for it. So I'm excited to be first, and interview is my favorite.
I love it. Yes. I know I've heard from a couple other girls that it was turning into 5 minutes, and I was like, oh my goodness, that really is a challenge to get everything out in 5 minutes. It'll be interesting to see how that works this year. I'm excited to hear about it afterwards. Okay. Obviously, I know you're very into the environment and you love public speaking, so I'm very interested where this is going to go. What are your career goals?
Yeah. So my career, okay. So let's start. I am very into my education. I'm a big nerd on the background. So I'm in probably every club there is. I'm in the Society of High School Scholars. I'm in Honor Society. I'm in the Society of Torch and Laurel. I was in the Congress of Future Medical Leaders, which was crazy. So my career path is I'm majoring in biochemistry with a minor in cellular and molecular biology. And that's a mouthful. Say it 5 times fast. But every time I write it down. Somebody doesn't know how to say it, and that's okay. That's part of me educating them. But I actually have committed to go to Coastal Carolina University on a presidential scholarship. And then with my Miss America organization scholarship so far, I'm already going debt-free.
Wow.
So it is amazing to be able to do that. And then with whatever money I get from Miss America's team, and if I even compete and miss, my doctorate will be paid for. So I'm super excited to see where all of it goes for me. But I do plan to do genetic alteration and DNA. And with me, that goes back on my being able to help people and being able to cure different diseases. There was a man in the Congress of Future Medical Leaders. He was a Nobel Prize winner in physiology.
Wow.
And for somebody who's a nerd, that is crazy. And he was talking to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I want to do. But there's actually ways that you can go in and you can help somebody's genetic code by altering their chromosomes and taking the bad out and putting the good in. And hopefully over time, they will grow and evolve with the new chromosomes, and whatever disorder or disease they have will eventually fade out. And so it will give them a longer lifespan. It will give them a healthier life, and they don't have to worry about whatever it is they have going on. And I get a lot of questions about asking how I feel about changing somebody. And I always say that I'm not changing them. I'm helping them to be able to let them fulfill their life. And that, I feel like that's always a question in any medical field, is that why would you want to change somebody? And I'm not changing them at all. I'm helping them. I'm giving them fulfillment, and I'm allowing them to be able to live happily how they truly deserve and how everybody deserves. So there's that side. I haven't decided which job way I'm going with that. I have an internship with the CIA this summer, next summer. So I hope to be able to do research for them. And I also have an internship at Johns Hopkins and at St. Jude. So I'm going to be pretty busy.
Those are
next
amazing
summer.
internships, though. Wow.
Yes. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see where it takes me. But with the environment too, I get asked questions all the time if I feel that the environment can cause certain diseases. And that is truly what I want to research, what the environment has to do on humans and what different things that are negative in our environment can do and what they can cause. And so like I said, environment super important to me, and it is falling into my career path. And you have to truly be knowledgeable about what I'm doing, which most people aren't, and that's okay because it's not interesting to everybody. But it's interesting to me. There's chemicals that can be in our water, or chemicals that can be in plastic that you use, that can lead to diseases and can lead to different failures in the human body. And I can't wait to further research all of that.
Yes, that is amazing. Again, wow. And I totally agree. There's so many different career paths that a major like that could really go into. So it'll be really cool to see where you end up. And so we talked about scholarships already. Okay, you're leaving for Miss America's Teen, and what did you say, 4 days?
Yes.
That's so exciting. Obviously, I'm sure prep is like super intense right now.
Yes.
So I would love to know what a day in your life looks like right now as you're preparing to compete for Miss America's Teen.
It might be kind of crazy, and some people might look at me like they're like, "Are you okay?" But I wake up and I get myself my cup of coffee. I'm a big coffee drinker, and the first thing I do is I sit down, I get on my laptop, I get on my iPad, and I write everything down for the day. I'm always busy. Even if I weren't prepping for Miss America's Teen, I'd be busy. I'm a busy person. All of my friends know that. Like my family knows that. But I make sure that I write everything down in my planner. That's my first thing I do for the day. I wake up, get myself ready, get myself visually prepared for the day, write everything down, and then I start immediately. I clean my entire room before this because I feel that I can't function properly with a dirty room because it makes my mind dirty. So I have to make sure that I'm organized all of the time. I have a packing list, just triple checking it 4 times, just making sure I have everything because I am driving. I'm not flying. So I need to make sure I have absolutely everything. And then I still have had appearances, believe it or not. I just had my send-off party last night, so it truly was a send-off considering I leave so soon. But the holidays is a huge time for appearances. And for me, I am not somebody that's going to tell someone no. So it's just making sure that I'm staying as organized as possible because I have so much to practice. I wake up and after, I would say around noon, lunchtime, I do my talent maybe 4 or 5 times. And then I will go and I will practice my opening or practice something else that I know that I need to have perfect going down to Orlando. And today, after this, I am triple checking my suitcases again because I want to make sure that, one, I can enjoy my New Year's without being as so stressed as possible. But for me, right now, it's a lot of self-care. Right now it's kind of out of my own hands. I've prepared as much as I can. I've been preparing since, like I said, before I even won this title. So I've been truly dedicated to my journey to Miss America's Teen. And right now it's just self-care. I'm a big person on making sure that my mind's not foggy. I go to the gym 6 times a week. So that's kind of my self-care moment. I do yoga a lot. So I do yoga at night because that helps me just dwindle down. But it's so crazy. And I don't even think it's set into me yet that I leave in 4 days. But I'm so prepared. I know that. I have to keep telling myself that because we always think that we're not. But there was a quote actually from somebody that I met over the summer. And it was before I competed for Miss West Virginia. And he was a former NFL Washington Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to say. He was a former player. And I had met him at an event, and I was Miss Jefferson County's teen, so my local title. And he was asking questions, and I was like, well, I want to ask you a question. He was like, well, okay. And I said, what advice would you give me competing for Miss West Virginia's teen? And he told me that as long as I'm prepared, you will always fall to your level of preparedness when you go to compete or when you go to even play a game. So if you're super prepared then you're not going to be as nervous and you're going to feel more calm. But if you're not prepared, you're going to be so stressed out, so nervous, and you're not going to perform very well. And when I competed at Miss West Virginia's teen, everybody kept asking me, why aren't you nervous? Like, why aren't you nervous? Aren't you like so scared right now? You're about to go do your talent. You're about to go interview. Aren't you nervous? And I just was like, no, I'm just feeling grateful that I'm here. And I kept that the whole entire time because I was prepared. And I feel like that's a huge thing that I'm doing now is I'm just grateful that I have this once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm thankful that I have all of the people that have got me where I am now. And I'm not as nervous as I probably should be leaving in 4 days. So right now in my life, it just has to make sure that I'm just staying grounded and staying Allison through it all and making sure that I'm going to go down there and I'm going to leave my West Virginia mark.
That's awesome. I totally agree. It's all about being prepared beforehand. Now you have time to, of course, you're still preparing, I assume, but take this rest period because Miss America Week is going to be super fun, but crazy, I assume. Yeah. And so, yes, keeping that calm mind right now is very important. Yes. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Speaking of Miss America Week, what are you most excited for that crazy, crazy week?
I actually just looked at the schedule again this morning because they send us a little bit more detailed of the schedule the closer we get to it. So I've kind of been urging to know everything that we're doing. But I'm super excited, honestly, when I get there. It's just to meet everybody. I've met them kind of like through messaging, or we've had like our Instagram group chat, our Snapchat group chat. We've talked, but I'm excited to meet everybody truly face to face because these are the people that I will be sisters with for hopefully my lifetime, because it's a bond that you build while you're there competing. And I know sisterhood gets overlooked sometimes as a point for Miss America's teen and just the organization. It's a pillar that I feel like doesn't really get talked about a whole lot. But for competition week, I'm super excited that one, my interview will be out of the way as soon as I get there, being first. But our park day, we get to go to Universal. How crazy
so
is
exciting.
that? So I'm excited for that. And then as soon as we get there too, we have a luau event. Like all of our events, I'm super excited for. I'm very grateful for all of the time and effort that the new CEOs and everything that they have put into making this event truly amazing for us. And I'm super excited to start. I feel like it's going to fly by. But I can't wait to take in every moment and truly be excited and be grateful for everything down there.
That's awesome again. Yeah, I'm so excited to see. I've heard that you guys are actually going to have your phones this year, which is very new.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to see all of the social media posts, all the fit checks going on. Yes. I'm so excited.
That's crazy. Because that was a question when we first had our orientation online, like over Zoom. Somebody asked, well, will we have our phones? And she's like, yeah, post everything. And I was like,
yes. Yes, I'm so excited to see all of it.
Yes.
Awesome.
That was the hardest thing when I was at Miss West Virginia's teen is I'm a big mama's girl. Like, I love my mom. She is kind of like my best friend. And not being able to text her and be like, Mom, you will never guess what happened today. You will never guess what we did. But I feel like it allowed me to focus. Like, I can stay focused. I can hone in. But you had no other people than to connect with the girls around you. Yes. But I'm excited that we do have our phones because I want everybody to see what I'm doing and what we all have. And all of those, like you said, those amazing outfits. I've worked so hard on all of those outfits and getting them together. So I'm so excited for that. And I can't wait to show everybody everything that we're doing down there.
So exciting. Okay. I always ask this question and people either love it or hate it. So I'm going to ask it anyways. Why should you be the next Miss America's teen?
Of course we need to be asked that question. Or else we wouldn't be competing. For me, like I said, before I went to West Virginia, I was already preparing for Miss America's teen. But truly, I feel I should be the next Miss America's teen because I'm ready. I have been preparing as soon as I even got the choice of having a local title. You always have to look forward to the next step. And I'm excited to be able to bring my CSI to a national level. I'm excited to be able to travel and talk to so many people and build communication skills even more, to build networking skills, to educate on the environment, and to really showcase the new Miss America opportunity, because it is a new brand. And being a brand ambassador already for so many things just truly shows that I am ready for this new step, this new opportunity. And I cannot wait to see where all of the competition leads me. But I'm super excited. I feel that I've worked hard enough to be a great fit. And I cannot wait to show all the girls that they can be in my exact shoes too.
That's awesome. Well, you're incredible. I love how multifaceted you are with everything from molecular biology, the environment, public speaking. You're playing like 11 instruments. I love all of it. It's so cool. So I'd love for you to talk about how people can vote for you for America's Choice, and then also where can people follow you on social media?
Yes. So on the link, you can either go to my page or you can go to the Miss America's Teen page. You can vote for me. I am West Virginia's teen again, Allison Dodson. My social media, my Instagram is either Allison Dodson or Miss West Virginia's Teen. I think now it's Miss America's Teen West Virginia. I always forget that. And then Facebook is the same as well. So Miss America's Teen West Virginia, Allison Dodson. Either one, I kind of post the same thing on both. So you can go see, it will take you to both. I have it combined. But I would be super excited for you guys to see all of the things I'm doing and follow my journey. And I cannot wait to compete soon. So thank you so much for everything you're doing.
Of course. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Like I said, you are so cool. And I'll be there for Miss America Week. So I will hopefully see you in person. And I cannot wait to see you compete on the Miss America stage. I know you're going to be phenomenal. And yeah, I'll meet you in like less than 2 weeks now.
Thank you so much. And please have safe travels to you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
She is so sweet. Thank you all for joining me today. If you or someone you know would be a great guest on the Imagine with Keira podcast, please contact me through my email at imaginewithkeira. Keira is spelled Keira @gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at imaginewithkeira and at Miss Fresno County Teen. I'm also on TikTok at Blondie Bix for Bixler. And you can also find me on Facebook at Keira Bixler. And then this podcast will be released along with all the rest of my podcasts on YouTube and Spotify if you search Imagine with Keira. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to interview all of these incredible young women. Be water, my friend. I am Keira Bixler, and this is Imagine with Keira.